get straight to it. We got Steve calling in from Nebraska. Steve, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Yeah, hey, Dan, and hey, Kelley. I'm sorry to hear of your loss. I'm fortunate
Thank you.
to still have both my parents around, so I can't even imagine what you're going through. But they're in their 80s, so I'll certainly appreciate them as much as I can while they're still around. But what I'd like to discuss is I have evidence showing mutations and biological evolution being simulated by AI rather than randomly occurring by nature. And evidence for this, okay, and then the evidence I have for this is RNA sequencing research data of SARS-CoV-2 variants suggesting genetic mutations do not randomly occur by nature, but rather appear to be determined by an entity with a reductive entropic bias towards computational conservation. This, according to information.
Before we go any further, can I point something out that it was like in the very first part of the very first sentence that you said. And I'm a scientist. I read science papers all the time. And I heard you say something that was very, very, very important as you read this paper. Would suggest.
Yes.
This is not saying this is happening. It's not saying this is exactly what we know to be, but this is evidence to suggest this. And I just want to make sure that we're going into this knowing that you don't have any proof here. You just have something that is suggestive of something. And it may be suggestive of other things as well.
Yes, right. The conclusion is open for interpretation, and further investigation will be needed. But according to information entropy, which quantifies the amount of uncertainty involved in a single RNA nucleotide, being one of four equally probable possibilities, namely adenine, cytosine, guanine, and uracil, that results in a nucleotide's info entropy equaling 2 bits. It's the distribution of nucleotide occurrences are not perfectly uniform within a genome's RNA sequences, then the overall uncertainty in info content per molecule will be reduced. The transmutation.
How are we getting to? I got two questions. Number one, how are we getting to artificial intelligence? And number two, what do you mean by artificial intelligence?
Well,
I mean, you've explained what's happening here, right, with the amino acids. Now, how does what's happening here? How do you interpret that data and say this is because of an artificial intelligence?
Well, based on the RNA sequencing observational data showing the SARS-2 CoVID's info entropy decreasing linear at 0.005 or 152 bits per mutation, to me that suggests that the evolution of life in our universe is being driven by infodynamic affinity with a quarterly bias.
Yeah, why? Just because it's a large number, or a very slim possibility? Is that why? I don't get it. I don't get why that leads to artificial intelligence. And is that artificial intelligence you're talking about God?
I believe that it could be maybe we're in a ancestral simulation where maybe they're running simulations of we're basically the simulated ancestors of who's running the simulation. That's one possibility.
So you think we're living in the Matrix?
Go ahead. You were going to ask.
No, I'm just saying. So that's one of your possibilities, is that we just live in the Matrix.
Yeah, I think that based on entropy, how it drives reductive evolution, and how the RNA nucleode what I want to say, the nucleotide, how the info entropy of an RNA nucleotide decreases in conjunction with reductive evolution.
But this still isn't getting us to an artificial intelligence.
I need to know.
It's just
like
getting
what,
us to an astronomical number that's improbable that this would happen.
Yeah,
this isn't getting.
I'm getting the basic premise, right? Okay, nucleotides, the function of nucleotides seems to, be in direct opposition with general, entropy of these systems. I disagree with that premise, but let's, for sake of argument, say that what you're saying is 100% true. What does that have to do with AI? Why are we going the AI route?
I think that it just seems to me that if there's reductive entropy and it's conserving computational resources over time, that just seems kind of like what I would think AI would do.
I don't know why you would think that.
I would think that.
I think we're getting some feedback loops here. Not sure if that's on your end, caller. I think it might be. We got you on. If you could if you're on speaker, if you could turn that off, if you have a computer in front of you, if you could make sure that you're just talking through the phone, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah. So can you can you hear me better now?
Let's see. Yes. No, I'm still hearing an echo here. Not sure where that's coming from, but we need to get on that real quick here. Kelley, your audio's is it coming out loud through your computer right now?
I'm good here.
Yeah, I turned the volume down on my. Yeah, I turned my volume down all the way on my computer, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Okay, Kelley, I think it is an audio issue on your end here. If you could, because I'm seeing your bars come up here. If you don't mind muting yourself real quick, yeah, just maybe give it. I'll keep going here. So okay, where were we? Sorry about that, folks. Live shows, hey, what can you do? Anyway, so all right, getting back to this. Okay. You make the inference that this could be the result of computational resource saving, okay? And the problem with that is that we have yet to actually establish that everything is being run in a computer in the first place, right? Like we're talking about like hypotheticals here. We're talking about possibilities. We're talking about possible explanations on top of another explanation, right? So at first we need to establish what is the deal with AI first. Like, how can we know that this is an AI? I mean, we can speculate, oh, this is why this would happen this way, but that's not definitive evidence, right? That's really circumstantial, if anything, right?
Yeah, it's conjecture.
Yeah. So again, what makes you suspect? I mean, out of all the probabilities, all the possibilities of what we're seeing, is AI really the strongest case?
Well, it could be. That's just one possibility. I've been thinking about it being. It could be extraterrestrials having fun. I mean, who knows for sure? I couldn't tell. There'd be no way to know what's outside the matrix, right? And if we're in a simulation, does it really matter if it's realistic? Like if we can't tell the difference, maybe our universe just behaves like a giant computer. What if there's nothing outside there other than quantum fluctuations?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it scares me. I mean, I can't really do anything about it, right? But also, like, I agree. Like, what if it is all of these other things, right? I think it's because of the open-endedness of the whole problem that I don't immediately jump to it being AI or being aliens or being whatever, right? There's like too many possibilities here for me to settle on one conclusion. So why settle on one conclusion and say, oh, this is what's likely it, when really I can't say one way or the other,
that's
right?
That's what I want it to be, and I have confirmation bias, and that's what I want it to be.
Well, there you go. Okay. Well, I mean, as long as you're cognizant of that, I guess it's fine. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that then. And yeah, I think that's what most people do for most things, including myself, right? So at least being honest about it is a good deal. But yeah, there you go, Steve. Is this just like a revelation you're coming to now about this, or is this just like I don't know, something you've thought about, or?
Well, I'm just scared that there's nothing beyond this universe other than just quantum fluctuations. I'd like to think that maybe someday I'll be reanimated into one of the simulation's favorite characters or something, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Why does that scare you, actually? I'm curious why you have that reaction.
I just don't want to go back into non-existence. I mean, I love life. I want to be alive for eternity.
What's cool about non-existence is that what's awesome about non-existence, though, Steve, is that you won't even know that you won't exist, right? So there's no being to care about, right?
Well, yeah, you're looking at the bright side of things. Okay,
it's not just the bright side, right? It's, I mean, like let's say, for example, which this is what I think is true, right? Is that when I'm done, that's it, game over. There's no objectively Dan anymore. There is no conscious being for me to actually even experience my death, or after death, rather, right? It's going to be exactly like it was before I was born. There's just no stimulus that's happening there. So like, there's nothing for me to be afraid of, because there's nothing for me to fear at that point. I won't even be capable of having fear. I'm not going to be capable of having anything. I think, like, if anything, it's a peace more than anything else, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's my perspective, Steve. I think obviously existential dread can happen to all of us, but I don't know if it's appropriate to be fearful. I think there's something that's there that you can find peace with, but maybe that's just, I don't know, my opinion. What do you think?
Well, I think the truth's out there somewhere. And
one of the things I often, one of the things I think about often when I'm thinking about this subject.
Yeah, keep going, Kelley.
Is that in the 1930s in the Isle of Man, there was an event happening where there was supposedly a talking mongoose named Jeff. And Jeff would often talk about metaphysical topics. And one day, Jeff said one of the greatest things: what happens if there's nothing after death? What if there's no heaven, no hell? What if you were never even aware that you were ever aware? And that it has made me think a lot. Now, I don't think there really was a talking mongoose named Jeff. I think it was probably a hoax or somebody having a mental interlude. But those words have always kind of stuck with me. What if you are never aware that you were ever aware?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I'm really.
It kind of gives me comfort.
I just want to be hopeful that there's more than that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people do. But I don't know. The thing about that, right, is if take Christianity, for example, right? Like, Christianity, most versions of it require you to do something with your life in order to attain the kind of afterlife you want, right? If we're just talking about aliens are in control, or we're in just a giant computer, I guess that doesn't apply. But for a lot of people's belief systems, right, you still have to kind of do something with your life. And there's a lot of people who deconstruct from Christianity then have regrets because they live their life in a particular way that they wouldn't have otherwise lived. But because of this belief system, it kind of forced them to do it. I don't know if you maybe would have that same problem, except for maybe the fact that there could be a fear response there, right? There could be something where you're looking into topics or you're worrying about stuff that you don't really have to worry about because it's out of your control anyway. And there's nothing at the end of the day that's going to be something to fear because there's going to be no person to fear for. So I don't know, it's your choice at the end of the day to decide what you want to do with your life. The best that I can offer you, Steve, is just the comfort that, like, hey, non-existence, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's not so good. Maybe it just is. And for me, at least, that's where I hang my hat, right? Like, I'm just going to not care because there's not going to be a me to care about. So I might as well just make the most of what I got. And that's it. That's all I can do. So I don't know if that helps, Steve, but just some perspective.
I think I'd like to meet you on the other side. I think you seem like a nice guy. You and Kelley and his mom.
Maybe
nice. I just hope we could meet you guys on. We could meet together on the other side.
If you do a seance, you might be able to meet me sooner.
Well, hopefully you're around here. Hopefully I'll be able to call you on the phone again sometime, but and not do a seance to reach you. So.
Yeah. For now, you can reach me on Friday nights. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I hope you all have a good. But I know there's probably other calls lined up, and they want to have their say. So, I hope Kelley, things get better for you here, and hope you guys have a best you can to have a good weekend.
Thanks, Steve. You have a great weekend too. Bye. Rather interesting call there. Kelley, I think you're all situated here, so go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. I had a few audio problems, but I think we're all better now.
Yeah. What'd you think of that call?
That was an interesting call. Like I thought it was going to be. I still don't understand quite where we got to the artificial intelligence from that data that he was reciting, but it was still a bit. And I kind of like the way where the call turned into once we got away from that topic too, though. So yeah, great call. I hope Steve does call us back. I'd like to talk to him some more.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting that when it comes to simulation theory, we just assume that computers are going to work the same way that outside of our universe that they do in our universe. We can somehow predict that. That's kind of wild because if it's a simulation, can't you just kind of make anything happen? Can't you just kind of make, I don't know, the rules be different in some sort of way? I don't know why anything in our simulation would matter.